I want to start today with a word that, quite honestly, usually just kills the vibe at any dinner party.
Oh, yeah. It's a heavy one.
It really is. The word is emptiness.
And you can feel the air just get sucked out of the room.
Exactly. When I hear it, or, when most people hear it, we don't think of a good time. I think of a void. I think loneliness.
A vacuum.
Yeah, a bleak, cold, outer space kind of vacuum where nothing exists. It feels like a deficiency. Something's missing.
Well, that is the standard Western reaction, and honestly, it's the standard modern one. In our language, empty almost always means lacking.
Right. An empty bank account is trouble.
An empty fridge, you're hungry?
Yeah.
An empty life?
Yeah.
You're in a crisis? We're just, we're conditioned to fill space, to accumulate, not to value the space itself.
And this is why I was so excited for this particular deep dive. Our sources today are basically arguing that we have this completely wrong.
Completely backwards.
We're looking at a deep analysis of the Prajnaparamita Hridaya Sutra. Most people know it as the Heart Sutra. It's a foundational text of Mahayana Buddhism.
And the core premise is going to sound like a massive contradiction to anyone listening.
It sounds paradoxical because it really flips the definition of self completely upside down.
The premise is this. Emptiness, or Sunyata in Sanskrit, it's not a void. It's actually synonymous with fluid happiness. It's the mechanism of flow.
That distinction is just crucial. We are not talking about nihilism here.
Uh.
We're not exploring a philosophy that says, sit in a dark cave, detach from reality, and feel nothing. Not at all.
So what are we doing?
This deep dive is about how an ancient text decodes a very modern, very high-performance psychological state, the flow state. It's basically an instruction manual on how to engage with a chaotic world without leaving, what the text calls mental footprints.
Mental footprints. I love that phrase. It's such a vivid image. We're definitely going to unpack that later.
Sure.
But before we get to the practical stuff, the flow state and all that, we have to eat our vegetables.
We do. The heavy philosophy first. We need to understand what the Heart Sutra actually means by emptiness, because it's clearly not just nothingness.
No, it's much more nuanced. And the source material uses a really, really effective allegory to break it down. It's called the paradox of the mountain.
Okay, the paradox of the mountain. This is our framework. It walks us through 3 distinct stages of seeing the world. So walk us through stage 1. This is the baseline, right, where we all start.
Stage 1 is where we all live by default. The source calls it sammutisaka, or conventional truth.
Or as our notes say, the villager's reality. I like that.
The villager's reality. It's simple. It's empirical. You look out your window, you see a mountain. What do you see?
I see a mountain. It's big, it's solid, it has trees, maybe snow on top. It's an object, it's distinct from the sky behind it. It has a name, a height.
And that is true. That's the important part. It's not a lie.
Right.
If you walk into that mountain, you will hit your head. It exists. This is the reality where we pay taxes and raise kids. Things are solid. I am here. The mountain is there.
Okay, so stage 1. The mountain is a mountain. I am comfortable here. This makes sense.
It's safe, but it's limited. It's a surface-level understanding. The sutra invites us to move to stage 2.
And this is where it gets weird.
This is where we apply prajna, or deep wisdom, to deconstruct that reality. It can be a little destabilizing.
It's the Matrix moment, right? Taking the red pill.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
You take that solid mountain and you start analyzing it. You look for its essence. You ask, what is it really? You look at the trees. Are the trees the mountain?
No, of course not. You could cut them down and the mountain would still be there.
Right. The rocks. Are the rocks the mountain?
No, just rocks. The streams, the dirt.
The tectonic pressure, the magma underneath.
It's just a pile of ingredients.
Precisely. It's a temporary gathering of elements. Causes and factors brought them together. So if you remove the rocks, the dirt, the water, where is the mountain?
It's gone. The label mountain doesn't refer to a core thing, just an arrangement.
Exactly. It was never really there as a standalone thing with a permanent self. This is the realization of anatta, or non-self. At this stage, the mountain disappears. You see that it's empty of a fixed identity.
Okay, I follow the logic. But here's my issue with stage 2, and I think this is where a lot of people get off the bus. You realize nothing is permanent, and you just become a nihilist.
Yes. That's the danger zone.
You go, well, nothing's real, so why bother paying my mortgage?
That's getting stuck in the void.
Yeah.
If you stop at stage 2, you can become detached, cold.
Yeah.
You dissociate from life. But the Heart Sutra pushes us to stage 3, the ultimate view.
The big twist. What happens in stage 3?
You look at the mountain again. and it is a mountain.
Wait, we just spent all this time establishing it wasn't a mountain.
We established it had no fixed self.
Hmm.
But at stage 3, you return to the world, you see the form appearing, you see the mountain, but the difference is how you see it. You see the appearance, but you simultaneously hold the knowledge that the background is empty. You know it's a temporary gathering, but you appreciate the form it's taken right now.
So it's a dual awareness. You're not denied the beauty of the mountain, but you're not fooled by it either.
Exactly. You aren't clinging to it as something permanent. This leads us to the what the Source calls the golden sentence of the Heart Sutra.
The famous one?
Rupam sunyatam, sunyata eva rupam.
Can you translate that for us?
Form is emptiness, emptiness is form.
Form is emptiness, emptiness is form. Okay, let's unpack this, because usually we think of form like this desk, my body, as the opposite of emptiness.
And the sutra is telling us they are inseparable. Think of the ocean. You can't have the wave without the water.
Mm-hmm.
The wave is the form. The water is the emptiness. The wave is the water acting in a certain way. You can't point to a wave and say that isn't water.
That makes perfect sense. The form is just the emptiness dancing.
That's beautifully put.
But I want to pivot to the so what question. How does knowing that my desk is conceptually empty help me when I'm stuck in traffic or totally stressed out before a presentation?
That is the million-dollar question. And this is where the source material does something really interesting. It bridges this huge gap between metaphysics and, well, peak performance. It takes this high-level philosophy and drops it right into a boxing gym.
A boxing gym.
Yeah.
That's a sharp pivot.
It is, but it's perfect.
Yeah.
The source uses physical examples, running, and boxing, specifically hitting a sandbag.
Okay, I can relate. I used to box a bit for fitness. It's exhausting. It requires total focus.
Right. Now, think about the moment you're throwing a combination at a heavy bag, or you're sprinting at full speed.
Yeah.
In that split second of intense focus, when the fist hits the bag or the foot hits the pavement, who are you?
I don't know. I'm not really me in that second. I'm just the motion.
There's no internal monologue.
No, I'm not thinking about my grocery list, that's for sure.
Exactly. In that split second, the self disappears. There's no I thinking, I am currently punching. There is only the action. The movement is flowing according to causes and factors.
That's so true. The second you start thinking, I am punching, you get slow. You get stiff. You mess it up.
Precisely. The self creates lag. And this is where we connect ancient wisdom to the modern concept of flow state.
We hear about flow state all the time now and, productivity hacks, but I have never heard it linked to the Heart Sutra.
It's the exact same mechanism. The source argues that this emptiness, this lack of a solid self, is the mechanism of flow. I mean, think about why flow feels so good.
Because everything feels easy, effortless.
You're not second-guessing yourself?
You're not second-guessing yourself because the self isn't there to do the guessing.
Ah.
The ego, the self, is usually the source of all that noise. The voice saying, am I doing this right? What will people think? What if I fail?
Wow. So anxiety isn't just a random feeling. Anxiety is a function of the self. Anxiety requires a self to be anxious about. It needs a subject. If you remove the doer, you remove the anxiety. When you're in flow, you are operating without the weight of the ego. You're the wave, just crashing. Not a wave worrying if it's tall enough compared to the other waves.
So the action becomes lighter.
Lighter and, paradoxically, much more powerful. Because all your energy goes into the action, not into judging the ego. This is emptiness in real life.
That's a massive shift. It totally rebrands the word. It's not I am empty inside, like depression. It's I am empty of the clutter that slows me down.
Perfectly put. It's about efficiency. The ego is an incredibly inefficient energy drain.
But here's the challenge. It's one thing to lose the self when you're punching a bag. The intensity forces it. How do you do this when you're just sitting in a meeting? Or dealing with a difficult toddler?
Right. You can't just sprint around the office to induce flow.
No.
And that leads us to the practical how-to part of the sutra. It doesn't just give us the theory, it gives us a mantra, almost like a code to program this mindset.
This is the chant at the very end. Gate,
Right.
gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisvaha.
That's the one.
I've heard this chanted. It's very hypnotic. But if you don't speak Sanskrit, it's just noise. Our source breaks it down step by step.
It's a roadmap for the mind. Let's look at the first word, gate. It translates to go
Just go.
or step forward. It's a call to action. It's saying, don't stay here in your old attachments. Don't stay stuck in the villager's reality.
Okay, so gate is the wake-up call. Move.
Right. And the repetition gate implies a progression. The source sees this as moving from just understanding this in your head like we did in stage 2
The intellectual part.
to practicing it. moving from the head to the heart. It's one thing to know the mountain is empty. It's another to box without a self.
Okay, so we're moving. Then comes Paragate.
Paragate means crossing over, specifically crossing over to the other shore.
The other shore being what?
The shore of emptiness. The shore where no self blocks the way. It's moving from the world of suffering and ego to the world of flow and clarity.
And Parasamgate.
That just emphasizes completely or thoroughly crossing over. You're not just dipping your toes in. You're going all the way.
And finally, Bodhisvaha.
But Bodhi is awakening, enlightenment. And Svaha is like an exclamation of joy, like, so be it, or hallelujah.
So the whole thing is, go, cross over completely, awakening, yes.
Yes, it sounds like a journey from point A to point B, but,
Yeah.
and here's the real twist in the realization.
I felt a twist coming. It sounded too linear.
When you finally cross over
Yeah.
to that shore of emptiness, you realize you haven't actually gone anywhere.
Wait, what? We just did all that
The
traveling.
realization, the Bodhi is waking up to the fact that the emptiness was around us the whole time. It's not a place you go to, it's a perspective you wake up to.
So the mountain was always empty of itself, even when I was looking at it like a villager.
Always. The flow is always available. You just had to stop clinging to the illusion of the self to see it.
That is actually kind of comforting, but also frustrating. It means I don't have to trek to the Himalayas. It's right here, in my messy living room.
It's everywhere. It is the nature of reality. We just obscure it with our constant mental narration.
So if the destination is here, and the state is now, how do we maintain that? Because I can listen to this, feel enlightened for 10 minutes, and then immediately get angry at an email. How do we live in this world once we know the secret?
This brings us to the final metaphor in our source material, which I think is just the most beautiful image in the entire text.
The living like a bird concept.
Yes. The source asks us to visualize a bird flying through the sky, or a fish swimming through the water.
Okay, I can see it.
The sky remains wide, the water remains cool, the bird flies, the fish swims. But here's the crucial detail. The bird leaves no footprints in the air. The fish leaves no tracks in the water.
Leaves no footprints. That is poetic, but what does that mean for my angry email?
It connects back to the two truths. You as a human have duties. You have to answer the email. You have to pay your bills. That's the conventional truth.
Right. I can't tell the IRS that I am empty and exempt from taxes.
Exactly. That will not fly. You perform your duties fully. You love your family with your whole heart. You do your job with excellence. But internally, you must be like the bird.
You do the task, but you don't leave a track behind.
You don't leave a mental footprint. When the task is done, it's done. You don't carry the emotional baggage of it into the next moment. You don't carry the resentment of a past argument or the anxiety of a future problem.
That is so hard. I feel like I'm constantly dragging a sack of footprints behind me. Remember that stupid thing I said 5 years ago? Remember that person who cut me off in traffic?
That's the self, trying to solidify its existence by holding on to history. The ego loves footprints. It loves a history, because that validates that it exists. I am the person who was wronged. I am the person who made a mistake.
So if I let go of the footprint, I feel like I'm losing a part of myself.
You are. You're losing the part of you that suffers. The Source says it so clearly. If there is no self to protect, suffering has nowhere to latch onto.
It just passes through you.
It passes right through. If you're empty like the air, it just can't stick.
So living with emptiness isn't about not caring. It's about not clinging.
Yes. You engage, you feel, you act, you can feel anger or sadness, but you don't collect the residue. You let the moment pass as easily as the air closes up behind a bird's wing.
I really like that. It makes the idea of emptiness feel so much lighter. It's not about losing yourself. It's about losing the weight you're carrying. It's like emotional aerodynamics.
It is. It's the ultimate form of emotional resilience. It allows you to be fully present for the good stuff because you aren't distracted by the backlog of the bad.
So let's just recap where we've been. We started with the scary idea, emptiness, and realized through the Heart Sutra that it's actually about flow and fluid happiness.
We looked at the mountain, seeing it as solid, then deconstructing it, then seeing it again with the wisdom that form is emptiness.
Then we connected that to the gym hitting a punching bag and realizing that peak performance happens when the self leaves the building.
And we learned the mantra gate paragate, the path to crossing over, only to realize we're already on the other shore.
And finally, the goal. To live like a bird in the sky, to fly, to work, to love, but to leave no mental footprints of suffering behind us.
It's a powerful tool.
Yeah.
It lets us engage with this chaotic world, but without all the heavy baggage that usually comes with it.
It really changes how you look at a stressful day.
Yeah.
Instead of, why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
You can just fly through it.
You just fly.
I want to leave our listener with one final thought today. Something that struck me when we were discussing the mantra, we said the mantra implies we never actually go anywhere because this emptiness, this peace, is always present.
It's always right here.
So here's the question for you to mull over. If peace is already here, is your constant, desperate search for peace actually the very noise that is preventing you from hearing the silence that is already there?
Stop searching, and you might just find it.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. We'll see you next time.